What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 28th, 2022. Going to be relatively short today. I'm getting ready to head out and play a round of golf. But big win by the Eagles yesterday, 40 to 33 over the Packers. And I've seen a lot of people question, like, oh, here we go. They're not a legitimate team, or they're not a legitimate contender because of giving up 40 points giving up 33 points to the Packers and whatnot. And I think what you got to look at this game, I think overall they played pretty decent. The defense could have tightened up a little bit with the run game, but they did when they needed to. I think they made a couple costly mistakes. A.J. Brown fumbling certainly didn't help. And I just think they cleaned up those mistakes, but they played better than what they had the previous two games that we were bitching about. So I think you take it for what it is. They got their 10th win of the season. They established the running game early. Jalen Hurts was taking what they were giving them, and I think that's what you want to see. Like, I don't know if moving forward that should be the play call, but there were a couple times where they're giving him 20, 30 yards at a time. He's got to take them, and I like the fact that he's willing to take them. I think the biggest concern, and it has been all year, is the special teams. They can't seem to stop anybody. They can't really seem to set us up with any decent field position ever. So that going forward, I think, would be my biggest concern. But I liked what I saw on offense. They came out, and I much better than they did against the Colts, much better than they looked against Washington. Still making some silly mistakes, but there's still time to clean that up, and you just move forward with the win. You take it and move on. Tough test coming in this week in Philly with the Titans coming in, so I would love to see what the game plan is going to be to stop Derrick Henry, because if there is a weakness on this team, that is stopping the run, it seems, ever since the injuries and whatnot came up. So hopefully Sue and Gannon can come up with a plan. Hopefully he can use him more. I didn't see him out on the field as much in the first quarter as I would have liked to, but anxious to see what they got going on for that. But again, they moved to 10-1. We won our bet, which brings our bet total. I think we're 5-6 now, so not too bad. I mean, we'd be down, but not down a lot. So everybody breathe. It's going to be okay. I mean, like I said, the mistakes, that's what killed them. I think, or I shouldn't say killed them, but I think that's what made it closer than what it should have been. So, excuse me. So we move on, and we just look forward now to the Titans. Got to come up. That's going to be a tough game, so we will take it. We have a two-game lead essentially on the Vikings. I'm pretty sure it's like a 3-game lead currently, or no, I guess it would be 2-game lead over the Cowboys too, because they still got to play them one more time. So win and move on. I'm sure the Cowboy fans are going to have a lot to say today, but keep in mind this is the same team that beat you guys, so I don't know really what you have to say about our soft schedule today, but I'm sure they'll come up with something, because that's what they do. Big win for the Temple Owls yesterday. They beat the Drexel Dragons 73-61. Good win within the city of Philadelphia, so hopefully that gets them back on the right track and the right side of things. Another huge win for the Sixers. They were playing Orlando, 30-point win. So hopefully now things are going to start kind of flipping over for them, and hopefully Doc can continue to get, like Shake Milton has been playing incredible with everybody out. So hopefully he can still figure out a way to get him into the lineup on a regular basis, but we shall see. They're back at it tonight against the Hawks, so let's keep that winning streak rolling. But this day in Philly sports history, we're going to go all the way back to 1968. And this is something we talked a little bit about on one of the Back to the Future episodes, so be sure to go and check that out. We've actually referenced this a couple times, but the Eagles shut out the Detroit Lions 12-0 on Thanksgiving at Tiger Stadium back in 1968. It was an absolutely shitty game. It was boring. Two bad teams, and the Eagles scored 4 Sam Baker field goals, one in each quarter, and that's how they got to the 12-0. The reason, obviously, because it was Thanksgiving was one thing, but this is bringing this up today because at the time going into that game, the Eagles were 0-11. They were favored at that point to get the number one pick in the NFL draft, which presumably would have been O.J. Simpson that year. Well, all of a sudden now they won this game, and it kind of messed up that flow a little bit. It was between them, Buffalo, and I think the Steelers had a shot at it as well. So what did they do after this? And that's it for that game. 4 field goals on Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. I mean, it's about as boring as you could get. But they go out then the next week and beat the Saints 29-17 and blow their chance to get the first pick, which leads into that last game of the season against the Vikings, which the Eagles, of course, they lost. That's what they were that year. They were just a horrible team. But that 1968 season that last game was the infamous Santa Claus getting pelted with the snowballs, booing Santa Claus. I'm sure unless you lived under a rock or don't read or watch any kind of news or follow sports, and if you don't follow sports, you wouldn't be listening to this anyway. But that was the one that everybody talks about still to this day. Well, they booed Santa Claus and they threw snowballs at him. Well, and that it stems from just being so fed up with that team. First of all, being so shitty that year, and then having a shot at the best college player coming out, the Heisman winner, O.J. Simpson, and then winning 2 games. So they weren't happy. But we talked about how it kind of set the tone then, because into the 70s, with the exception of the Flyers, all the teams started to gradually go down until later in the decade. I mean, even the Flyers weren't that great at the beginning because they were still a relative expansion team. So just something, give it a listen. But on this day in 1968, the Eagles beat the Lions 12-0 for their first win of the season, putting their chance for the number one pick in jeopardy. Eagles improved to 10-1. We'll take it. Sixers back in action tonight against the Hawks. Hopefully, I'm not going to go hack up a golf course today. But until next time, have yourselves a Monday, and I'll see you when I see you.